Every now and then, sometimes I'll think back when my parents and older folk would tell me. I would look back at my school days fondly, and I just have to ask myself, what the fuck were they lying for? School is an interesting time for me, especially since my last eventful time in school was around COVID, which was 5 years ago now. Anyway, I had to ask myself the question, was school really that bad? Short answer, yes. Quite literally hell on earth. I honestly don't understand a single person who misses school that much. Let's talk about the teachers. For me personally, they either liked me enough or did not fuck with me at all. Plain and simple. Teachers, in my opinion, sometimes could be some of the most annoying people to deal with. Oh, you missed one word on a slide and you asked them to go back for 2 seconds? You pretty much put a God of War circle interact button over your head. I'm gonna make you the case study of what a pea brain looks like. How dare you? How dare you ask for such a thing? Also, those teachers who be crashing out on the whole classroom just because the nigga breathed a little too hard. You could be asking a person for a pencil, and out of nowhere, they just start yelling like someone just pissed in their coffee. Just hooting and hollering for no actual reason. Complaining on how they have to come in every day, and then grade all night. You know your job? And niggas acting like you don't gotta do the same thing, or a GPA gets dropped into the shadow realm. Gotta solve a formula to get a rocket to fly into space, and at the same time build a tesseract, along with 5 other class homeworks. Just to go back to school the next day and do it all over again. Unless you want that GPA to get dragged into the depths of the underworld. This ain't even talking about the teachers with the crazy lore. Always that one teacher trauma dumping on their kids like they're their best friend. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd rather much hear about the rough night that you had with your ex-husband, but still, I think you should be teaching the class. Anyway, moving on from there, the school of food. I quite literally believe that they might have been digging in local dumps and stealing from jails to acquire some of the items on this menu. Ratting on the school that you went to, you might have had better food, but for the most part, it was just straight ass. At my school, personally, there were 4 good items on the menu. The nuggets, burgers, tacos, and some type of noodles with chicken and sesame seeds. I would add other items like the pizzas, but those personally I had a bad experience with, so I'll come back to those. Anyway, outside of these 4 items and maybe a few more, nothing else was considered edible. And whenever we got said unedible items, for some reason me and my friends would mix them together in the tray and then pour milk over it. I'm pretty sure the dude who was walking around with a trash can probably hated us. Now, even with all of that, it is not as bad as the school bathrooms. When you first enter, your nose is hit with one of the most musty smells you'll ever encounter. Wet toilet paper balls and pencil writing all over the walls and ceiling. And if you're really lucky, you'll enter in the middle of a fight. It was honestly unbelievable. People skipping class, smoking, drinking, just doing anything that was unproductive in school. Though this isn't even the worst part, the unspoken rule. Never take a shit in the bathrooms. Now for me personally, I didn't truly understand why it was such a forbidden thing, but I didn't dare break it. Not until I got unlucky. Remember what I said about those pizzas? Now, one day we did have those pizzas, and I gotta say, they were delicious. I was eating it up, and for the most part, I was alright. For about 10 minutes after lunch. Then, I got hit with the meanest stomachache known to man. I thought I was gonna die. First thing I asked was to go see the nurse. I was begging with her, pleading, please, send me home. I got sent back to class with an ice pack. Then, I felt it. The bubbling and tossing in my stomach. That pizza did something to me that was unfathomable. I was cooked. All I could do was go to the bathroom, which I did. And I was dropping straight bombs. Then it happened. 4 niggas walked into the bathroom. Ew, is that guy taking a shit? Yo, no way. I know he's taking a shit. I know he's taking a shit. I know he's taking a shit. Really had the nerve to use the bathroom the way it's supposed to be used. Hey man, let's just jump this guy. I never took that risk again after that. Now outside of that, there's also school administration. Imagine this dickhead is messing with you. And you finally take the time to tell an administrator, but even with all the evidence, they still do nothing. But the one time you fight back and defend yourself, you're smacked in the face with a suspension. Suspended for defending yourself. Always using that lame excuse, 0 tolerance policy. We can't take sides. Even though you look like you just got out of the ring with prime Mike Tyson, he still has a bruise on his face. Anything could have happened. These niggas were such NPCs. Some of the most useless niggas to ever exist, especially when it came to doing their jobs. Swear, people would gather in the halls and talk about when and where they were going to fight. And they did nothing. And when it actually happened, they still did nothing. There was this one time 2 dudes were fighting, and one administrator tried to walk in between them on some anime sensei shit. Instantly got hit in the face. After that, she walked away. And then about 5 minutes later, when the fight was mostly under control, I see her coming back and putting herself in between them again. Mind you, the situation was pretty much already over. No clue why she came back and did that. It was an odd situation, to be honest. Outside of her, there was also this other administrator who was low-key on a power trip for all the wrong reasons. Pretty sure most schools had this rule, no hoodies in class. And miraculously, she came up with an idea from this one rule. Instead of doing my job and taking care of the school, I should sit in classrooms to catch kids with their hoodies on. Now, this by itself is alright. A little weird, nothing too crazy. But she was a school administrator, so of course this led to her taking a nigga's hoodie and cutting off his hood. God forbid someone have a bad hair day or be cold. I'm honestly surprised they kept her after that. Alright, I think y'all got the point now. With all this said, I still appreciate school for everything that it did. Especially for the experience and the friendships I made. Those two things make up for a lot of the stuff that went on there. Some of the most memorable times were at school. And I mean, at least I got out of there before they started making Chromebooks self-destruct. So maybe school wasn't so bad. Man, who am I lying to? School is fucking terrible. You know what? School can kiss my ass.